get in on our tour. All right, it's almost 12:10 and the lighthouse opened at 11:30, so it's time for our tour.
Waiting for the tour?
Yeah.
Almost, it should be just about 10 minutes. There it is. Thank you.
I have $10 here. It's $5 for each.
Good.
Well, this will be fun.
It's pretty late in there. Thank you.
Is it raining? Because I can start it.
Sprinkling a little.
Go ahead.
You're first.
It's dripping.
Go ahead.
We'll come behind you.
Are you all one group or just separate groups?
We're separate.
Well, we can still bring him in here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
He's on his way out. Thank you. Have a good visit.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Was it fun up there?
Yeah.
Now, was it foggy? So you couldn't see too
No,
far?
we can see
You can see far. Okay, great. Bye, Nicole. Stay in touch.
Okay, so anyway, the tour for adults is $5, so cash or charge is fine.
We are the Port Washington Historical Society, so we are a nonprofit, and it's a suggested donation. And there are two of you, and if you're going to climb the tower, we just want to show you, you all have on good shoes, that it's a series of 3 ladders. They get a little progressively steeper and narrower as you go, but unless you really have trouble climbing, you should be okay because they're stairs and not rungs.
I can handle it.
Yeah, it's
If
really
you
not
are
too bad.
going to climb, we want you to sign a waiver.
Just a waiver that just says that
I'm
you
gonna do
understand the hazards, which it really isn't too bad, but again, and you'll have good shoes on.
You'll know your limitation when you see it. We just had somebody go up to the first floor and then decide they didn't want to go any further. If that happens to you, just come on back down.
Yeah.
Do
But
I
again-
need to be concerned about how tall I am?
Yeah, no.
Well, you do when you go up the stairs here, because there's low clearance, but as far as going up those, just watch your head. It's not built for really big, tall people like you, but I think it should still work.
You should feel just fine.
Yeah.
And then when you come down, just make sure you're looking at the stairs and your feet. And
Okay.
you'll automatically be far enough away from the hole.
All right.
Okay, thank you. We'll let you sign that. I'm Holly, you're both related. Glad to meet you.
That's my wife Lori.
Hello.
Together we are
Adventures in Travel. We do a video for our YouTube channel.
And then, Holly, why don't you take 4 with you, and I'll take, no, you two are you 4 together?
No, it's just us.
It's 3 couples, 3 couples.
3 separate couples? Okay, I'm gonna let you start these,
Okay.
and then I'll.
Al, you're gonna need to sign a waiver
Yes,
also.
okay.
So I'm
And
gonna just start
our-
over here, ma'am. So I'm gonna just start a general, kind of an overview for everybody that's standing here that's new. First of all, where is everybody from?
Madison.
Madison?
Okay.
Greenfield.
Greenfield? Brookfield? Okay, we're all Wisconsinites, pretty much, right? So I don't have to talk about the cold, how cold it gets here in winter, okay?
You still kind of do.
Well, I do because this house doesn't, originally didn't have central heating and all that, but
Do you need a
that
receipt?
comes later.
No,
So-
I'll remember.
So basically, there was a total of 4 lighthouses. 2 of them are still existing, the one we're standing in, and then one that is way out in the marina. And then these 2, and these are no longer here, but we have, I think we have a photograph of this one, but, I'll get to that in a minute. So this was the very first lighthouse that was on the premises. This was built in 1849. As you know, Wisconsin became a state in 1848. So right around the time they became a state, they decided to have, that we needed a lighthouse here. But you can see it's a separate cottage and then a separate freestanding tower. And so that lighthouse people had to run out and go up the stairs and attend to the light and all that kind of thing. The thing is, though, when they built that, they didn't do a very good job, and it wasn't built very well. So it took about 10 years, and they realized that the thing is going to crumble away, so we need to build something bigger and better and stronger. So in 1860s, actually the year 1860, this lighthouse was pretty much completed. So this pretty much looks the way it does now. This is the original structure. The thing is, though, there was a lot of stuff. When I say stuff, there was a lot of changes in between. When the Coast Guard took this over in the 1930s, they actually ripped off the whole tower. They just dismantled it and took it off. But if you go outside today, you will see that we do have a tower, but there's a whole story to that. So 1860, we have this, the one we're standing in. This is called a modified schoolhouse style lighthouse. And this is very commonly seen on the Great Lakes. It kind of looks like a schoolhouse, the little schoolhouse that we all have seen, except a schoolhouse would have a little bell tower, and a schoolhouse probably wouldn't have a second floor. So that's why they call it modified schoolhouse. Okay, so as the years roll by, towards the later 1800s, electricity comes in, and they decided that they needed, this is like a pierhead lighthouse that juts out into the lake. So this was the technology of the time. This was built in 1889. It was a wooden structure, and it had this little catwalk on here. But you can imagine, again, in our cold winters, how terrible it would have been to go out on this little catwalk to service it. Now, again, it was electrified.
Not at first, though.
But, okay, not at first. But, as technology kept changing, in the end, it just became defunct, and they ended up with this one here. They ended up building this one here in the 1930s. So this is called the Art Deco Pierhead. This one is still there. It's out in the bay or whatever. But right now it's covered with tarps.
They're
Yeah.
renovating it.
Yeah, but if you're from Wisconsin, I know you'll probably maybe be able to come back and see it when it's completely cleaned up and
We were last here 11 years ago. That's how long it's been since we've been here. But I got pictures of it then,
okay.
and that was not covered.
Right. Well, once they uncover it, it'll probably be nice and fresh and new and everything. So
It was lead paint.
yeah.
Oh.
So
So,
that's why it's shrouded as
Yeah.
they remediate the lead paint. They don't want it to go in the air or in the water.
so yeah, it's a big project.
It'll be repainted and
So-
nicely done.
So anyway, so that's what we still have it, and it's kind of like the symbol of Fort Washington. If you go downtown, you'll see on the banners on the street, you'll see that typical Art Deco shape. That's kind of like smooth, streamlined lines. And I hear that there's another one just like it in Indiana somewhere. So if you're
Yes.
lighthouse people, you might have gone over there and saw it somewhere in, I think it's Indiana. So that tells the story. So there was 4 lighthouses, although 2 of them haven't survived. So we'll go into the next room.
This one?
Yes.
And you can leave it open. I
Okay.
just close it when people
Yeah.
come.
I often tell people, and sometimes when there's really young people in the group, I like to tell them how, they often think, oh, all these old houses have all these doors. Well, a lot of that has to do with, keeping heat in a room that you're using. It's not like nowadays where you have central heating and all the rooms are heated the same. So this is called Lighthouse Keeper's bedroom, and it's pretty much situated so that if you're laying on the bed and you're looking out that window there, at the time, they would have had a mirror. And the mirror would have been slanted so that you could look at the mirror and see if the tower light was lit.
Oh.
So again, that was his main job, to keep the light lit. So he was set up here, and that way he could kind of stay down here and make sure the light was lit. But he didn't, if he did have to tend the light, he didn't have to like disturb his wife and the kids, because of course there was a family and they were pretty much camped out upstairs. So that was just the arrangement they came up with that was very practical and worked for them. So, and of course, again, cold Wisconsin winters, this is a bed heater. I think they put, I'm pretty sure like hot coals in there, and that kept the bed warm. A nice quilt that was locally made, and that's, the story of it, if you're interested, is right there. It was actually from a big family in Lake Church, which is north of here. And of course, a lot of pieces that would have been found at the time. So, we can
Ma'am?
Yes.
Before we depart from this room.
Sure.
When was the last time you had an actual lighthouse keeper here?
Pretty much okay, I'm going to get to that in the next.
1834.
I'm going to get to that in the next room, because I'm going to show you some pictures of the family that was. Yeah, I'll explain all that in the next room. Okay. So if you want to step into the parlor. Okay, so I'll start you out right here then, because this shows. Now we had several different lighthouse keepers, but this is the family that was here a very long time. The picture on the end is Charles Lewis Sr. and his wife Maria. Now they came from out east. So again, there was other lighthouse keepers here before them, but they pretty much took over in 1874, which is still pretty relatively new in the history of this place. So they became keepers, but then Mr. Charles Sr. passed away in 1880. Luckily, they already had their own children, and their son, Charles Lewis Jr., stepped into his father's shoes, because although she may have wanted to become a lighthouse keeper, they didn't let women become lighthouse keepers. They certainly preferred men. Now, that's not to say that we never ever had a female lighthouse keeper. In fact, right when this was built, let's see, 1859, there was the Schomers, Bernard and his wife, Margaret or whatever. Well, Bernard had died. So Margaret, and they were immigrants, and so Margaret thought, well, I want in, a lighthouse keeper. She had a bunch of kids, but her husband died. So she applied to be a lighthouse keeper, but you had to speak English, you had to know, do figures, do math and things like that. Well, she wasn't very good with English. I think she came from Germany or something, she just wasn't fluent in English. Well, anyway, but she was a very nice woman, so all the townspeople said, look, give this woman a chance. She really does. So she somehow got the chance, and she became a lighthouse keeper. And this is in the 1860s, right when this building was built. Problem was, she already had 6 kids. She was pregnant with her like 7th or 8th. But they didn't know it at the time. So, but she was in the lighthouse keeper, and even with her being pregnant, she continued to be lighthouse keeper. But that only lasted for about, 9 or 10 months. She met a man and got married and got the heck out of here. So they made an exception, in other words, but that wasn't normally what they did. So again, when Maria's husband died, her son was able to, thank God, step into his dad's shoes. Because again, a lighthouse keeper had to have a certain level of education. Oh, and also you had to be very moral and very upright, because you don't want, think about it. You've got some guy, drinking all the time. Is he going to make sure the light is on at night? No, he probably doesn't care. So it was a very much a position of responsibility, and you were a government employee. So they, Charles Lewis Jr. and his wife, Linda. Now, Linda actually came from Port Washington, so they were very much a local family. They had a bunch of kids, and I don't know if it was I think it was their son who married a woman, and they had twin granddaughters. So this picture shows this guy who's grandpa and his granddaughters. And their names were Jeanette and, Jeanette and Genevieve. One of the girls was still alive at the time when the Historical Society started to renovate this, and they were able to tell them, the board, what this was all like, because they lived here. They lived with their grandpa and grandma because the little girl's dad had died, and so the mom had to go and find work somewhere else, maybe in Milwaukee or something, I'm not sure where. But anyway, so we were lucky enough to have an actual person who lived here be alive to talk to about how this was arranged. So the picture there on the wall, and I think this one was, they may have been painted by some of the, from Linda's family. Again, Linda being the lady from Port Washington. So that was kind of nice that we still have that. Now, here in Port Washington, there was a lot of industry, and so one of the things we had was called the Port Washington Chair Factory. But of course, I think they made more than chairs. They made tables and things like that. And they also, at one point, probably in the teens and 20s, they made these talking machine cases, or what we would call a Victrola. So, if you would like, I can get this Victrola going. See if I can remember how to work it. It's just a miracle that it still works. We like to play this for the kids and tell them, this is what you had before TV and internet and all that kind of a thing. So, yeah, well, it's, that's what they had. So, but they have a collection of record albums here too. But I don't know if you've ever heard of the expression, when you want to tell somebody to shut up, say, put a lid on it. Mm-hmm. Well, this is the lid they're talking about. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm not going to drop this lid, but that's like the only volume control we have on this is putting the lid down. So I like to point that out, especially the younger people. So we'll go into the next room, which is the dining room. Now remember I talked about how, so they built this in 1860, and then this was the lighthouse for many, many years. But in the 1830s is when the Coast Guard kind of came in and took over. And by then they had that pure light out on the lake, and they really didn't need this light up here. So what the Coast Guard did is they went up on the roof and they ripped the old tower off. They just took it off. And so this lighthouse did not have the tower for many, many years. So at one point, well, I think it was actually much later, like around the year, let's say the year 2000, I'm not sure exactly when it was, but there was somebody here from Luxembourg. Now, Port Washington has a big connection to Luxembourg. And there was a man named George Caltot. He was here from Luxembourg, and he found out about this big project of renovating this house and bringing it back to original lighthouse situation. But he heard about the fact that our tower was no longer in existence. So what he did is he got the country just donated the new tower. They had it built over in Luxembourg, and they had it shipped over, and they had it installed, all for free, as a gift to us because of World War II. In World War II, our soldiers liberated Luxembourg from the Germans. So that was their thank you to us. So yeah, so for many years it didn't have a tower. Now it has a tower again, and it's very accurate. It was planned. The craftsmen they were just excellent. So that kind of tells the story of the tower. Now, here we have the dining room, which is obviously set for dinner. This is the lighthouse service china, and every lighthouse would have been issued a set of china like this. So this isn't probably what they actually were using with the Lewis family, but it's very much a representative of what they would have had. Now, remember, I don't know if I pointed out, I probably forgot to say, but the father, the first man in the photos in there was a dog next to him. Did anybody see that? Okay, there was a dog. Well, I always like to point this out because I think this is really charming. I think one of the granddaughters, which were also in the picture, there's an envelope in here addressed to Great Grandpa Lewis and his famous dog. And I still want to know, why is that dog famous? What did he do that he became so famous? But and it's really cute that we still have that. Unfortunately, there's no letter in there anymore. But and then here we have the kitchen. And you know, this is your old Victorian, old style kitchen. Now, one of the things we like to point out is that even though in 1849, when they built the original lighthouse, the cottage and the freestanding tower, they built it out of bricks that were, you know, the whole thing wasn't very good quality. However, they managed to save some of the brick structure, and I believe that's why they left this brick showing here to show you what the original bricks would have looked like. I just came from a lecture over at St. Mary's Church, which is really, really nice if you want to go over and see St. Mary's Church. There used to be a brickyard here in Port Washington. And so it's very possible that these bricks were made again here in Port Washington. So there was a lot of local industry here that we were able to kind of make a lot of things for ourselves. Now the stove is your typical old, it's actually not the biggest stove I've seen, but what I've heard is that in summers, you know, it gets hot, really hot and humid here in Wisconsin, even though we're in air conditioning right now. So what they would do is they disconnect the stove, haul it outside, do their cooking outside in summer, and then haul it back and reconnect it in fall when things started to get chilly again. Which I've never heard that before, and I'm thinking that's a lot of back-breaking work, but apparently, you know, it's what they may have done. This is a stove that was in the basement, and this is for probably to do the laundry, because you can put this big copper boiler on there and heat your winter, especially in the winter months when you're not going to do your laundry outside. And one of the things that's interesting is that even though we're on the Great Lakes, which is lots of fresh water, apparently it was hard to get good water because although they had a well dug here, because we're so high up, that well would dry up, especially like in summer, the water table would go so low. And so you'd have to put on the yoke and go down the hill because the lake is only a few hundred yards that way and go and get some water, which really surprises me because you think, well, we're right in the lake, but still you have to go and fetch that water. Now there was a cistern, and you can see the cistern out here, as like the remnants are out here, but no, a cistern is something that collects rainwater from the roof, but again, it wasn't always the best water, and if you don't get any rain, well, you don't have much water in your cistern. So I was surprised to learn that the water was kind of a problem. And then here we have an ice chest, which most people know that the ice houses were harvested in winter, and then in the summer you could order ice for your ice box. Now, you're allowed to show the kids and ask them what this is for, and sometimes the kids are sharp enough, but of course this is to tell the ice person or the ice delivery person how much you wanted. So what it was ever at the top was how much you wanted. So if you were having a big party and you needed a lot of ice, you'd probably want 100 pounds of ice, I guess. So, and then this is
They had an ice box kind of like that on the Honeymooners.
Oh, really?
TV show. Yeah, they did.
Oh, really? I'll
Yeah.
have to watch for that. Mm-hmm. That's cute. Yeah, what we do is we show the kids, and they're like, "Oh, that's fake." Well, of course it's just representing what the ice would have looked like, and then there's like a tin lining, and then we like to talk about it's like a little thing about science. Well, cold air sinks, so you put your food down there, so the cold air would sink and keep your food cold. But and then I tease the young people and say, well, that's your job to keep the pan empty, because as the ice would melt, it would drip down into the pan, and if you didn't empty it, you'd have water on your floor. So lots of back-breaking labor in those days.
One question before
Yes.
you continue.
Yeah, sure.
Most people don't know that when you have a cistern, it's very important that you have a first flush device.
Okay.
So that when the birds
Yeah, do their
defecate
thing.
on
Yeah.
the roof,
Right.
the first flush
Ah.
pushes the water away from the cistern.
Yes.
That way you're not
Drinking the
catching-
contaminated water, right?
Yes, exactly.
That's good. I mean, those are the things that obviously people would have all known back then, but nowadays people don't even think about it.
don't.
Really?
Most
Okay.
people they think, cistern, what is that? They
Yeah.
don't even know, they don't even know that.
Exactly.
So-
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up, because now that I know that, I can always mention that on my tours too. So, okay, so that kind of covers the first floor of the lighthouse keepers, his accommodations. Next, you're gonna go upstairs to the lighthouse keeper's office, which is actually a very important room. And then, now you both signed the waivers, so you'll go up in the tower. The tower thing is fine, don't get frightened or anything. The only thing is, just take your time, be patient, it'll be just fine. So, you will go on. Oh, and before you go up though, this is one thing I don't always talk about, but, one of the tour guides explained to me, or maybe it was Dawn, he was telling me how this part of the lighthouse is very important. Structurally, apparently the way it's built architecturally is that there's very, very heavy reinforcement from the basement all the way up. Because if you didn't have that, it wouldn't support the tower up there. And that's why we were able to put the tower up again, because this was all, good. And I'm sure they inspected it, but, so.
And all the doors had to do with just keeping the humidity away from the light.
Yes, there's so many little things to talk about that I almost get like wound up in one little thing.
That's what I said, just a ton. And every time I give a tour, something different comes
I know,
up.
and it just bubbles up out of your
Yeah.
mouth, and I'm getting like tongue twisted because I'm thinking of 3 other things I could be
know.
talking about.
It's fine.
But anyway, at this point, if you want to go up the stairs, now watch out for the for the low clearance there.
The
But
other thing I'm curious about,
Yeah.
that means that when they built this, brick would not have provided enough support. I'm assuming. So what did you?
Especially in the city,
Right.
it's very
What did the original make it?
heavy big timbers. Probably virgin force, like this. Really made these. So they probably had they didn't have iron. No.
Hold on. Oh, people. Okay, I'm your tour guide.
Okay.
We'll go up into the tower first. A couple things, purses and bags aren't allowed to be caught because we got like 32 steps. It gets narrower and smaller as we go up. Things get caught. You guys have good shoes. You sign the waivers. Now when you go up, face the ladders. There's 3 of them. The first one you go up, there'll be a room up there. You can stop there and I'll kind of do my spiel and then you go up into the tower. Okay? One at a time on the ladders. Don't step on any fingers.
Oh wow.
bars up there that grab on.
There's bars here, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh. Wow. Cool. Really cool. Was nowhere near like that other one. Oh, and that was horrible. Then you got your camera. The pictures. Even though it's raining. Look
Starting raining again?
at what I found.
He's only 3 stories up and you still can see them all, huh?
Wow.
Cool.
Oh, the ships are coming close. Well, at least you can see the ships now.
I'll move out of the way if you want to move in where I am.
You guys have to get in the corner. You gotta fit too many people.
I'm just moving over so you guys can take
See
turns.
Well, you can all.
Wow!
Well, here.
It wasn't easy, but it was worth it.
Yeah, I did. I've never had anybody not make it up. I probably even say that's 200 people. So, and I tell you, they were a lot older than me. The couple, 2 ladies, boy, didn't know if they'd make it, but they were sponges. Nothing but 6 people. That's the limit.
Maybe there. There's that window. Did you get him out of that one? There's no window. Small game of the lake. This one.
Wow, this is the limit, 6. Okay, so first thing I'll talk about is this lens that's in front of us, which is the whole backbone of the lighthouse. This is a Fresnel lens, which amplifies the light inside. That's actually just a normal LED in there.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what the lens does. It distorts things. And this guy, I think he was French, he came up with a design that worked best. This is what they call a 4th order. They call them orders for sizes. This is a 4th. And the lower the number, the bigger. If this was a 1, we wouldn't be fitting in here because it would be bigger than this building that we're in.
So how big would a 3rd order be?
3rd would be a little bit bigger than this. It would be up to here. Because I know, I can't think where I was. I was at a museum that had a 3rd order, and it almost doubled the size of this.
Wow.
That's why a 2 would be probably about the size, almost the size of the whole thing, and a 1 is bigger than this whole thing. The only one in the United States that's a 1st order is in Hawaii.
Saturday and those boats are all black.
So now what they have this light bulb on a timer at night. It goes on.
Did you get a picture out this window?
So it does light up, but it's nothing near a lantern. Okay, so you heard the story about the Luxembourgers coming and building this. Oh, that's right, we gotta look at you can see the structure underneath here. Someone was asking about how it was, I think there's some open timbers you can look at. But anyhow, when they built this tower, that was real nice, but you needed a lens. And they didn't provide a lens. There's a reason for that. If this was glass, which the original one was, and the Coast Guard, God knows what they did with that lens. It's worth a lot of money. But if they wanted to put a glass lens up here, it would be $100,000 for the lens. This is acrylic. It was only $30,000. What a bargain, huh? So yeah, so they now this thing, each light had to be unique for the location. Fort Washington was a fixed, meaning this doesn't blink, white light. And it didn't spin, but to do maintenance, it does rotates, but that's not a normal operation. There's a hinge, and then you can open it up. Then during the day, they also had to be able to identify this as being Port Washington. So it's a red roof, copper top, school, schoolhouse. They call this a schoolhouse. So somebody during a captain going by whose little eyepiece could see that this is Port Washington. I'm sure after a while these captains went up and down so often they knew where they were.
Is the roof slate or metal or what? Is the roof made of? What's it made
I don't know
of?
what it is now, but I'm sure it was originally slate.
I'm sure I could find out. That's pretty. It's very pretty though.
Yeah. Now the original pier light for the harbor basically went straight out, and originally it was gas and then it was oil, then kerosene. Then they electrified it. When they electrified it, they took the horse building or structure, and they put a generator in there, and they ran that cable all the way down to that light. And when we go back down, I'll show you the picture. It's a long run. So in the 1930s, they decided to put a power plant, coal power plant here, which is basically where that one there is. That's not coal. So in order to do that, they had to change the pier to where it is now.
Looks like you're going to sailboat.
So that's an Art Deco light or pier light out there that's covered up because they're painting it because there's lead paint. So they did that, and then they had to open it up to the harbor so the freighters could come in and bring the coal. And that's when they came right along that park, which is called Coal Dock Park. And I, as a kid, came down here and watched them unload those things. And it was just a big pile of coal. And what's interesting is the way they got it into the plant, they had two big plates. And apparently, they pulled the coal from underneath the pile, not from the top. Somehow they had a way of bringing it through that little bend. So in the late 70s, they converted that to natural gas, cleaned it up, and made that park. Downstairs, we have a picture of a freighter unloading the coal. And you wouldn't think it's the same place.
When did they convert it?
To gas in the 80s, I think.
So I would have seen that
Well-
because I was coming down here in my own car back in 1976.
Well, that would have been a little bit earlier, because I know when I was a kid, I was born in '59, but when we used to come down here, we saw the coal being unloaded in the dust, and then the burning of the coal, the smoke, the smog. But they had to go out to, if you're familiar with the area, Saukville, which is about 5 miles, at least 5 miles west, to find a big enough connection for the gas, and the gas plate was like 6 feet tall, Okay, so you can see this light when it has a gas lamp in it, and it's glass Cornell lens, about 12 to 14 miles out, at least, maybe up to 18. Now the lake is 60 miles wide at this point. So I tell kids you can't see the other side of the lake. Michigan's on the other side. But yeah, so I think other little interesting facts. But yeah, because after they converted to gas, then they came, years later, they came up with this nice little harbor and the yachts and stuff. Because when I was a kid, there was no harbor like this. This is actually pretty much of a dump. Port Washington did a good job. I live in Cedarburg, which is 10 miles south of here. So yeah, because when it was originally, the freighter came in, you can see where at the end of the pier, or across from that Art Deco one, there's that little white like stones with a little navigational beacon there, or thing. That was added after the freighters no longer came through, because the freighters would have to come straight in. But and downstairs, originally, having a look, 'cause I was trying to figure something out. Yeah. Oh, doesn't make sense. I'm trying to figure out the picture we have down there. Because there was a chair factory that encompassed around the harbor, and they had a fire. It was interesting, they had a fire, and we'll see the picture. But the mayor ran a tannery across from where now is the power plant. And when the firemen came, this is oh, yeah,
Sorry.
that's fine. Scares the hell out of me too. I'm trying to think what year it was, like around 1900. But when the firemen came, he said, "The hell with the chair factory saved my building." The mayor told the fire. And I mean, it kind of made a little bit of sense because the rest of it was already burning. His wasn't, but you know, politics. So, if anybody has any questions, if it was a clear day, you could see downtown Milwaukee.
Really?
Yeah. It's not a clear day. So I don't know if they told you, but there's like a program where you stay in the apartment during the day and sleep at night, and then you come and give tours. My wife and I did that last year. It's fun. And it was the week of the 4th of July, so the evening of the 4th of July, I came up here and unplugged the light and watched fireworks from up here. You could see all the fireworks in Milwaukee. You could see them all, but they blew them off of that Colt dock. So, I have pictures.
I imagine with this lit, you couldn't stand.
No, I
Put
got
the
to plug
sail
them.
up there. You put the sail up.
That's funny because I told the director that I was going to do that. She says, "You can't plug the timer." I said, "No, I'm just
You
going to
put
put
the
the
sail
cord to the timer.
One of the sail.
The timer's going to continue to operate." And then the other thing is, I'm not an early morning person, but I did get my little butt out of bed and watch sunrise. And it is interesting because there's a haze over
There's
the
quite a
lake.
few sails
So
out there.
you'll see the sun, then it'll go away, and then it comes back. It goes up, and it's like, right.
Not this way.
It's quite the
Yeah, they were
view.
having a
Well, I would imagine
sailboat races somewhere where we were.
the churches were already here back in the day.
Well,
Right here.
a couple that
That
from
it?
Fort Washington, I know
It's moving
that
slow.
church and this was built, this lighthouse was built at the same
Put
time.
up the second sail
1960.
now.
There apparently was a church up here and it burned. So there was a church before this one. And then obviously we told you there was a lighthouse before this one. So, but I can imagine, they're building this, they had some in 1960, so they had to have some powerful ox to get them up, get the materials up the hill. Someone had to bring the stuff up the hill.
I'm curious, what else would I have seen back in 1970
6. You mean that was here?
that was already here?
Well, I know that you wouldn't have seen that. Apart of those condos.
Yeah.
The fort wasn't there, not until recently.
Yeah, the
Oh, look, smooth.
recreational
Vicinity is.
harbor
Oh,
there.
marina.
Marina, that's the word. Marina wasn't there. That was like in the 80s, I think,
Okay.
and 90s. They redid it. They've redone it several times. It's just great.
And the break wall, they repaired that
Yeah, it's
crooked
wider.
stones, and
Yeah.
filled all them gaps.
Because when I was a kid, it was this wide. And the waves would come over and run between waves. And that was dangerous.
But it was fun at the time.
Well, yeah. No, that was the highlight. I mean, I grew up in Cedarburg, and my parents, my dad was an electrician. Our big treat was to come up to Fort Washington, and then we'd buy smoked salmon, go home with it. Just thinking about that.
Yeah, they're
So-
gone too.
Hmm?
Ewigs.
Hmm?
Ewigs.
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of places that sell
Do
it.
we, back in the day, would we have seen maybe some commercial fisheries, fishing
Well, I'm
lake?
sure there may have been. Smith Brothers? But, yeah. There's obviously there's people that take you out on the lake. I can tell this quick story. I have a neighbor I live in Seaburg. I lived in the same house for 36 years. And a neighbor, the house up next to me sold, and it was a guy from Scotland, and his wife was from the United States. Well, his family came over and they took a charter and they went and got salmon and trout. Well, his freezer wasn't big enough for all that, so, and at that point I was working second shift and my wife worked first shift. So they asked me if I wanted some fish, so I got some salmon. So I asked my wife, "Do you have a recipe for salmon?" I hadn't ate salmon that whole summer, and the way of making it, I just loved it. But yeah, a lot of salmon up there apparently. I caught one fish off the breakwater.
I don't know that that's the case now because of our zebra mussel problem.
Well, if it's getting worse, but this is probably 10, 15 years ago. But I know a lot of people go out in the morning and they come back with tons of
They
fish.
still come back with salmon, I know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just talked to one of the captains of one of their boats, and they said, yeah, we caught some salmon.
Yeah. No, still catching the fish.
All right, I'm getting claustrophobic.
Okay, we can start going down. Yeah, I'll let you go down.
First and catch me.
Yeah, I'll catch you.
Yeah, just that first step.
3 points
It's
count.
kind of a bit.
I should wait till you get all down, right?
Yeah.
One at a time. This first one is quite slow. 32 steps. Someone asked me, how many steps are there? 32. Want to go in? This is the air conditioning from the apartment. And when we were here in July, it was like 95 out. It was hot up here. And I found out that this comes from that apartment. So it as long as the air conditioning is running in the apartment, it comes up here. If it's not, so before I would give tours, I'd go in there and lower the temperature so it would run.
Okay.
Then I always did it. I stand behind the lamp so people can see the view. But I end up being right over that darn thing.
I'll let you go down next.
Yeah, I want to look up at those posts. Because this, from the basement up, because I was in the basement and I saw the structure down in the basement.
You can go next if you want to.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. You want to go next? Okay, that's fine.
What do we got going on here?
Well, that's how I clean the windows.
This, oh,
When I stayed here, we go out. There used to be more spiders. It was funny because for the 4th of July, I turned off the light, and then when I turned it back on, all these spiders were running back up on the outside.
No, thank you.
No spiders?
I don't like spiders.
But then, yeah, you can see the wasp. I'm glad they can't get in, but I think there's a way they can get in, but they hang around outside too.
This is great. I got some good pictures of
Yeah,
the
this
ships. That's
right.
why I wanted to be last.
Fine.
Just a couple more minutes. This is great. Thank you.
For slips to put their boats in, and we're all full. So, it's become that.
That's a good sign.
This is an older poster, and I had some up here, but they're all gone.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I told them there's a website here.
oh, good. Yeah, and then there are new ones. This one is at least 10 years old. But this Lake Michigan Tourism, it's called actually West Michigan Tourism. They're the ones that publish that poster annually, each year.
Okay, when you come in here, this picture here kind of, that's what the coal dock looked like.
Oh,
That is
yes.
the coal dock.
We actually are freighter fans. We were just in Sault Ste. Marie a month
I've been
ago
there.
for their Engineers Day Festival. Super fun. And we got to ride a boat tour right
Yeah, I
up
did
with
that.
the freighters.
Oh, and right through the lacks? Did you go through the lacks?
Yeah.
Boy, in the early 70s, my dad took us. It was our big trip of a lifetime. Sault Ste. Marie and through the stocks.
It's
It's
so
the only time I've ever been out of the country because technically the boat went into Canadian waters.
That's right.
But yeah, when I came as a kid, they would be unloading that and it would be just dust. And then the coal burning in those stacks just, it was a dirty place. Mm-hmm. And has, that's Dawn, she's the director of Port Washington Historical Society. As she said, you know, they dredged out for the marina, and now there's a need for more slips. So they dredge out more.
Wow.
Yeah, there's always something I can learn from other people, or, you know, like with the coal docks, there's 2 plates. I didn't know about that, and then I gave a tour to someone from Port Washington who says, "Oh, my dad used to work there. Did you know that there's this?" You know, and he told me how it worked. So, and then the week I was here, somebody would say something like about the chair factory and that cannery that people saved because it was the mayor owned it. So after we got closed, I'd go on my bicycle and read the signs. And there's a whole book on this place. So there's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, if this is the 9th Lighthouse District,
Oh gosh. Yeah,
how many districts are there?
I have no idea. I suppose wherever there's an ocean or a lake that's that freighters would navigate, ships would navigate, they are.
Well, we know about
Well, there
we
are.
know about Lake Winnebago. Yes, there is a lighthouse there.
Yeah.
We've seen it, yeah.
We've seen it.
Well, there is a private lighthouse in Grafton. Yeah. Okay.
All right. I guess we better move.
Yeah. There's a doorbell.
It's getting busier now.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Look, she's got the place documented.
This was so much
We
fun.
want to make sure that everyone knows that they have to come.
We want to bring more people in.
We want to bring more people in.
Well, I
You're talking about a non-profit, and they can always use more input.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be providing a link to the lighthouse in our video post.
Yeah, we're really needed more volunteers.
That's what's happening.
That's why they opened it up.
I mean, it was like, you know, everybody's coming. And you, there it is. Oh yeah, right there. In fact, I'm gonna put some more out. Or did you like the tower?
It was really
Isn't that
fun.
worth it?
I was getting all kinds of views of
You
the
bet.
tall ships up there. It was great.
I just wish it was a little more clear out today, because when it's clear, it's magnificent. It's
We
just-
had weather like this in Sault Ste. Marie, and they don't even bat an eye. They
Yeah.
don't say, "Oh, it's a wonderful day. It could be colder." You know, that's how they take
You're
it
right,
there.
it's all in context, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know what?
Yeah, well,
Thank
thank you
you.
for coming. Thank you so much for coming.
Yes.
Yeah.
We can get a new one.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. We hope you enjoyed our tour of the lighthouse. Getting all the way up to the top was quite a challenge, but so worth it if you're able to do so.
An absolute must-see if you're coming to Port Washington.
Try to come here when they're open. And it was well worth the trip. And the view outside the windows was incredible. We'll continue our tour of Port Washington now, so hope you enjoyed this.
Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel.
So you can get the latest updates on our newest videos.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day, everyone.